What's up? What's up? UFC Abu Dhabi, Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. Let's make some money on these fights.
Shouts out Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisbin. Alrighty. Late one, late podcast. We got 8 hours here to, something like that till the event. It's really late here. I woke up at 5 a.m. I was a bit tired. Time was running out. And I said I'm just way too cooked. But I've skipped a few of these podcasts recently. Just, not cool. So I thought, why not? Even if 5 people that really wanted to listen to the show, listen to the show before the event starts, it's better than nothing. I've done a lot of tape. I'm going to have a few bets, quite a bit more than usual. So I'll let the boys know and we'll go from there. Do a quick overview, first events of the month. Usually a really big month, August for me, Contender Series starts, but I had a bad start. Just per usual, lost some money on PFL, nothing new, It's the sky is blue, the sun is shining. Started off with a live bet on Pace, first fight, won $400 there. Then I lost 1,000 on Pregande under. I mean, that guy was a zombie, looked like a great bet. And then I had my second biggest bet on the Fortune under 1.5 rounds at plus money. I won 820 there. So I was up $200. That felt like a win in itself. And then I donated on Liz Carmouche, $300 live. And then I donated on Vassell, $300 live, to end up losing $400. It's something. And then Fury FC, I bet Walker versus Cortez at $3.75. I had $375 to win over 1,000. A bit like last week on A1 Combat, I bet Sanchez against Bruno Souza. He lost a split decision at the same price, $3.75. It was to win $1,000 because BetOnline really made the limits low after heaps of money came in. And that was a good bet. And this was a good bet. Walker almost knocked out Cortez with a jab, then dropped him again. Then went for a guillotine and then lost. So lost 370 there. So about 700, almost 800 down to start the month. But, it is what it is. I'm still feeling a bit down from last week, losing on the UFC. I squeezed out $4,000 for the month barely, and then I kind of lost it all on one event. And I don't mind having good bets and losing. Like Bilal was a good bet. I passed on Gregory Rodriguez, but it's just a bunch of bad bets. So that leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Maybe it's because I should be in Europe right now. So I'm kind of jealous, and I was sick, and I'm just training, and it's winter, and I'm grinding away for, a break-even July. But I've switched my method. My thought process, I'm positive. I'm going to wake up at 2 a.m. and be happy about it, and hopefully going to enjoy some fights because they've been extremely boring recently. UFC has been reminding me of PFL. So whatever happens, $25,000 up. It could be better, it could be worse. Hopefully by the end of August, things are going to be looking amazing, and only way up from here. More Audio, thanks for tuning in, mate. I appreciate it. I know this is really short notice, so I didn't expect many people, but let's get into it, shall we? Obviously, we're going to break this down from a betting perspective, so we won't talk too much if there's no value. Sedriques, Dumas, Denis, Tiuliulin. Someone stopped me before I bet Denis Tiuliulin here. Really, really hard click. 11-9, 37-year-old brawler with a ton of red flags, hittable, bad cardio, literally some of the worst ground game you will see in the UFC. He's got guys that are not really good finishers, just running through him on the ground. Only win Jamie Pickett. Even that was competitive until it wasn't. But I wasn't going to go in depth. But as I said, now I'm focusing on UFC, and I did all of Denis's regionals, and I think this could be competitive. I wish there was more footage recently of him going longer. Obviously, other than the Christian Leroy Duncan fight, they spent 5 minutes against the cage. But you watch Sedriques Dumas, and he had a lot more finishing upside on the regionals. Now, they've given him the bottom of the barrel. He couldn't finish Cody Brundage. I think he's very lucky to win that fight. Cody came in, mentally checked out. He came, then they gave him Abu Azaitar. Abu Azaitar has fought 3 times in the UFC since 2018. And, the guy has no good wins. His only win is Miranda, who's a kickboxer. Finished by, Barrier of all people. And he won round 1 cleanly with a takedown. And then he let Abu Azaita take round 2 off him. And then round 3, he chose to strike and had a really close round 3 against Abu. And that's like the bottom of the barrel guy. So why can't another bottom of the barrel guy, Denis Tiuliulin, keep this fight competitive? So yeah, it's a dog or pass for me. The only thing that scares me, I think, Dumas does have more potential. His Matej Penaz fight, the guillotine, the absolute fluke guillotine, was, the highest win on both these guys' records. I think we'll see Penaz in the UFC or contender again at worst case. So he's capable. He took Penaz down and went straight into mount. If he does that to Tiuliulin, it's going to be so scary. But yeah, it's a clear dog or pass here. I'm just waiting. I don't know. Will I come around to it? It just feels like he's going to be winning, and then one takedown, and then he's going to gas, and it's kind of going to fall apart. But I don't know. It's clearly a dog or pass, and we'll see where this line goes. Maybe I force it, but I don't know. I don't know if I can afford a bunch of forced bets from FOMO and then just like burying myself again on the first UFC card. We'll see. We'll see how many other bets. Sup, Glenbot, thanks for listening. Kolostrom, what's your two favorite fights on this card? Well, last week it was Karp, Mokaev, and Gregory and CLD, and both of them were awful. So this has to be Joel Alvarez, Brener. I don't know how that will be awful. And I really want to see. I'm really excited about Guram and Jordan Vucenic. That's going to be an interesting fight. Shara Mikhail Olesenchik piques my interest because I feel it could be a barn burner. But yeah. What other comments we got? Pillow Fist Brits, thanks for listening, my friend. Denis has better defensive striking. Dumas throws one. I agree. Naked leg kicks. I saw that he was getting caught and countered by Azaita, and he got countered by Ruzubayev straight away. So hopefully Denis can come forward and counter him. Dumas sub is limited to round 1. Well, I don't know about that because Denis falls apart late. Penaz wins the rematch. I mean, that's one of the most obvious things to say, really. All right, let's move on. Joe Herbert versus Rolando Bedoya. I wish I played some Bedoya at $1.40, and then I taped it in depth at $1.20, and I said this still has some value, and then it just kind of moved to pick him right in front of my eyes. So I missed this line 2 times. I'm not one of those guys that just now wants to pivot to Jai Herbert. I feel like Pick'em is accurate. I think Jai is more talented, has the athleticism, and he's a really talented fighter when he lets his hands go, but he's just not really letting his hands go. He's got issues with takedown defense and chin. And Bedoya, at his natural weight class, he will fight for your money. So pass fight, nothing I really like. The overs are juiced. I get the sneaky suspicion that Rolando is going to finish in the rounds 2 or 3, but all it depends on their pace. We'll see. Victoria Dudakova, Sam Hughes. They're no interest in this fight. Sam Hughes, she is the kind of dog that you have to back against bottom of the barrel or girls that just kind of gas. For example, like Amarim, and Elise Reed is just a nobody. That was one of my favorite bets as a dog. But yeah, Victoria Dudakova. Too many questions about her. Her contender series was a really good win against Marina. I think it's Souza. I can't tell. Silva, pardon me. But other than that, Estela Nunes win, fluky. Junior Frey. I think that was in Abu Dhabi as well. I mean, what to make of that? She came in sick. She's pulled out since then, sick as well. Like there's kind of there's an air of untrustworthiness with Dudakova. I just saw it recently last week. I played someone that was sick a lot recently. That's right. What's his name? Keelan Lauren. He came in compromised against that Angelo Pacheco, and he just kind of seemed compromised again against Hadley. So these things is these compromised fighters, they're constantly injured, this and that. I'm just kind of staying away from them, especially at chalk. She probably can get takedowns against Hughes, but when Junior Frey took her down, she couldn't get up, and she just gave up round 2. So I think Sam is live here, but it's a fight that I don't have too strong of a read, and it's really hard for me to back Sam. So I'm going to wait to live bet it, maybe see if it's 1-1 into the third and go from there. All right. Guram, Kutateladze, Jordan, Vucenic. I really like this fight. Yeah, 2 high-level dudes. Jordan should have been in the UFC for a bit. He's usually a featherweight, but last fight was at lightweight. He actually missed weight, or maybe it was catch weight, who knows, but he looked big. He looks same size as Guram. And, I taped a lot of his fights kind of just to get an idea of him. I taped all his high-level fights in Cage Warriors, and he's just, he's a technical fighter, but doesn't really have too much power. And, I really rate his jiu-jitsu. I think him submitting is kind of underwhelming, He's basically lost to all the best guys in Cage Warriors. He lost to Paul Hughes twice. He's lost to Morgan Charrier. Or he might have beat Morgan. Oh, he beat Morgan Charrier by split. Actually beat Paul Hughes as well. My bad. So he beat these guys. Spoke too soon. And his best win is James Hendon, in my opinion. Hendon, I think, he's one of the best. I think James Hendon is ready for the UFC right now. A physical wrestler. The Cage Warriors let him go to Octagon, and he's mauling people over there now. I think if they gave him a fight in Contender Series, he would maul whoever they give him. And, he was kind of like ragdolling Jordan in round 1, and then Jordan took his back and he finished him. It was very slick. So I think his path here is a submission. Guram, he comes out extremely strong early. He's physical. He's a lot more physical than Vucenic. But, I don't know if I'm getting any juice, any value on this line. He's kind of low output. He needs big moments. Most of his big moments are kicks and counters. I bet him against Ismagulov as a dog. I thought I was a bit robbed there. Herb Dean kind of ruined it with that illegal knee that he ate. Or he landed a clean knee, but Herb Dean gave it a reset, and Ismagulov ended up losing a split there. But he was a little bit lucky to win a split against Gamrot. And then Elvis Brener. I remember I had him in a parlay against Brener, and then I just had this bad feeling. I hate fading scrappy dogs. And I was like, man, Brener, if he doesn't get finished, the way Guram Kutateladze fights late on in fights, he doesn't separate. Now, Jordan's not really a dog. He's just going to force the grappling. He's a grinder, but, not very physical, not very powerful. So, yeah, it's a dog or pass for me here, but I'm just going to live bet it. I still have to rewatch Damir Ismagulov versus Guram. I watched the Brener fight, obviously. But, yeah, there's just something off about Guram. Even on his regionals when he was more in his prime, it was kind of like, knock you out early or a slow margins decision guy. His moments taper off later on in the fight. So, yeah, I think Jordan could be a sneaky dog here, but I do like a lot of dogs on this card, maybe too many. So it's just pick your shots here. I feel Guram should be the favorite. I don't think Vucenic has really beat anyone on that level. I will say, though, the under here, I'm surprised by this number, right? Guram has killed people before. He's dropped Gamrot, I think he dropped Damir, or Damir dropped him. I mean, he almost knocked out Elvis Brener twice, and Brener knocked him out. Jordan Vucenic, never been finished, but, his eyes were really closed shut almost against Paul Hughes. It was quite hittable there. And then all of his wins are, by submission. So the under plus money, that could be a path for both these guys. So we'll see. Let's move on. More's audio. Jay is cherry sherbet. Melts. Correct, he is. Then again, he still beat Klein. That Rich Mitchell, one of the worst refs in the game, robbed him. This card is stacked for a fight night. The main card could be a pay-per-view. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chiesa definitely shouldn't be on the pay-per-view. I think they need a better co-main. If they had a really good co-main event and they shoved, Ferguson and Chiesa out and had Shara Olazenchik as a third fight, and then maybe chuck another fifth fight on there. Oh, yeah, it's actually quite high level. We'll see. I just want good fights. If I'm waking up at 2 a.m. and if I'm going to lose money, I just want to enjoy the fights. I do this for the love of watching fights, and making money is just a bonus. AW MD, how did you do PFL and LFA bets, Steve? I had nothing on LFA. Actually, there was a bunch of leans that won easily, so that was annoying. And PFL, I just mentioned at the start of the card, mate, you always seem to come in after I've mentioned something, then ask me that question. But yeah, I had a big bet on the under in Tyrell Fortune, the white belt. And then I had an under in the Alexei under, which didn't cash, and won a live bet, lost a couple other live bets. Yeah, lost $400, nothing crazy. Moore's audio, Vucenic Nation, Guram is done. We'll see. UFC betting experience. Vucenic sub plus over 1.5. That's a wild number. I guess. Yeah, that's getting quite greedy there. Moyes, yes, he does have faster hands, but there's no real pep behind Jordan's hand power at all. Kyrax, Big Steve keeping me awake when I need to be up early to watch this card. Same, mate. I think after this, I might have another hour or so that I'm straight to bed to wake up 2 a.m. Alrighty. Next fight. Shamil Gaziev. So as I mentioned on the early teas, not much changed upon retaping this fight quite a lot. Obviously, I think Shamil is live early. I do think he has a little bit of decision equity. I see a lot of people, obviously he's gassy. We know he's gassy. It's nothing new. He was gassy in the regionals. He just finished 90% of his opponents. I think even if he gasses here, he's got decision equity over Dontel Mayes because Mayes is notorious front runner, falls apart, just got completely shut down by Sakai, who also looked washed. He looked wilty. Hamdi almost knocked him out early, and then gave up round 3 quite easily. He's just he's not the most cardio-driven guy himself. So I think Shamil has decision equity, and he has some finishing upside early. That's the only way I'll play this fight. The under 1.5. I know it's plus money. It's weird because Shamil Gaziev under 1.5 against Jairzinho was minus 200. Now it's plus money. So a bit of recency bias. I know Gaziev round 1 and 2 is like plus 140, which is the same as the under currently. So, but then you don't cover yourself with Dontel Mayes' finish. Can Dontel Mayes be the person to finish Gaziev? I mean, that would be quite embarrassing for Gaziev, wouldn't it? But yeah, that's how it is. It's Gaziev round 1, Gaziev round 2, Gaziev under 1.5 plus money, and yeah, I haven't played it because Dontel Mayes is a bit of a weasel. On one hand, he's quite hittable and has a lot of quite bad body language, which looks like he can be finished. But on the other hand, he's like running away. He's surviving. He's making it to round 3 against Gane, even though he's hurt a lot. He's surviving against Rodrigo Nascimento. He's surviving against Augusto Sakai. He got dropped badly by Hamdi, survived. And there's a whole grapple path by Shamil. When Shamil grapples, he usually just sits in half guard, which not very conducive for a finish. If he just comes out there slinging like against Martin Bedoya, he can probably break Mayes. But takedowns, I mean, he's got some good rear naked chokes. He submitted Greg Velasco, who's meant to be a black belt. So yeah, we'll see. That's definitely the way I would play it. A little poke on the 1.5 at plus money. Mohammad Yahya, KO Fernandes. This one, some of the boys playing this in the Discord and, playing Mohammad Yahya. And I get it. This is Fernandes is basically LFA Brazil journeyman. He's had some some early finishes against good Brazilians, and now UFC signed him, which is strange. He must have good management. I expected this guy to be on Contender Series. And yeah, $1.25. It's quite aggressive, so I get it. Mohammad Yahya is in his hometown in Abu Dhabi. He's the only hometown guy. I played Peak quite big against him when he was like pick'em / plus money. I expected Peak to run through him. There's some durability issues on Mohammad's side. He didn't, but he's still just the levels. Peak was even a better grappler than Yahya, which just goes to tell you what kind of a fighter this guy is. But Fernandes has really bad cardio and really bad decision equity. So Yahya's meant to be a striker. He can keep it competitive on the feet. If Fernandes doesn't finish him, then yeah, it has to be wide. Fernandes is going to give him a kickboxing fight. The issue is, I think he's live for a finish. I think it's going to be one of those ones which we see a lot. I love banking on these. For example, everyone's playing the Peak unders. They expect Peak to run through him, and then now people are pivoting, and we expect because Yahya survived Peak, he's going to survive Fernandes, and Fernandes also didn't finish the Casey. And now we get to see what really we saw in the regionals, and that's, Yahya getting finished early and Fernandes going back to finishing dudes. Just feels like a reverse recency bias that's about to happen, and to remind us again. But yeah, if anything, I'll lie about Yahya. But yeah, some people are playing Fernandes sub. I just feel like it could be sub, it could be KO. So again, I could pretty much donate to every single dog on this card. That's the kind of card it is. But we'll see. I'm about to give you a good donation coming up. What are the comments saying? Nick Alexander, thanks for listening. Well, Nick says, see, really hot and humid in Abu Dhabi, minimal subs. If you saw what fight numbers did for Denmark, UFC Denmark, they said there's a lot more subs at elevation in Denmark. And that day we had a bunch of subs. We had freaking Julian Rosa get a guillotine over C-Rod. There was another sub that was unpredictable. Yeah, ended up being true. So maybe just humidity and getting choked is the thing to do. Alrighty, here we go. Greg Lee, my number one fan. You decide on your last second minus EV chalk parlay. Not really, mate. My chalk parlay is the bomb. By the way, I was in this guy's Discord and all he does is minus EV chalk parlays. It's pretty funny. That's Aussie humor for you. He just needs to do it a bit better. Fernandes round 1 KO. Left head kick seals the fight. Yeah, I consider drop to the right hand. Yeah, I mean, that's his path for a finish. Head kick. He's high rolled a few in LFA. Alrighty. Alonzo, Menifield, Azamat, Murzakanov. Now, this is the one. I just had this weird feeling. I have some boys, Chad and stuff, that have been trying to fade Azamat. They faded him with Tafon. They faded him with Devin Clark, of all people. Dustin Jacoby at chalk. And now, I feel like he's fighting the best guy he's fought in the UFC. I feel like Alonzo Menifield is like Tafon and Chukwi, enhanced on the roids, on the peptides, right? Tafon is slow as hell, all right? No head movement. He was winning minutes. One judge had it. Adelaide Bird had a 2-0, but it was 1-1. And, Azamat killed him, right? I think Menifield hits harder. I think, obviously, he's got the wrestling upside. I think he's more explosive. I think he cracks. I think he's, over the last few fights, I think he's actually improved under Pat Barry. I think this is one of those ones where Azamat, when it was people trying to fade him with Devin Clark and Tafon and Dustin, and now he's a minus 200 favorite, and I think Alonzo could surprise some people, right? So I think there might be some chin issues with Azamat as well. He was caught behind the head by Devin Clark with a head kick. He started grappling. If you watch his fight with let me tell you, with 0-3 Georgi Sakaev, who is in ACA.
Good evening. How can
Gregory Sakaev, he came into the pocket to land his left hand, and he was caught with an overhand right. And it was dropped. It was knocked out by 0-3. That Sakaev guy is 0-6 now. No wins. Hasn't beat anyone. He's been finished by everyone. And after dropping old mate Azamat, he dropped down for a heel hook and, got knocked out. So we saw some adversity there. Azamat almost gets knocked out by 0-6 guy. Everyone else is run through, not much adversity. The most we've seen him slow down on the regionals, use wrestling against Guto in Ascent, lose a couple round or 2 rounds to Tafon, getting kind of stumbled by Devin Clark. Devin Clark is the worst. He got wobbled. He just got 30-27 by Marcin Prashnev, for God's sakes. Dustin Jacoby, they both felt Dustin Jacoby. Azamat had, a good round 1. Jacoby has absolutely no defense. Really close round 2 that he was losing. Then he drops him at the end. And then he loses round 3 clear. Started panic wrestle, couldn't do it. Alonzo Menifield against Jacoby, lost round 1, close, based on volume. Then almost knocks out Jacoby round 2, and then he almost knocks him out in round 3. I mean, if you're looking at minute to minute, Alonzo had much better minute. Even though a lot of people say that he's got bad cardio, he's stupid, he's slow. I think this is just a number play, right? And then Carlos Olberg, I mean, People saying he was knocked out recently 2 months ago. It wasn't even knocked out. He just got up straight away and it was wobbling. He got caught behind the ear by one of the most explosive lead hooks in the game. So yeah, if you look at these guys, I feel like it's funny. Yeah, if someone asked you, if you look at these guys on the street and you go, who's the fast twitch explosive guy? You would think it's Alonzo Menifield, but Azamat is definitely the faster guy. There's a risk that he can just crack Alonzo. Alonzo's been cracked before. The only time he's fought a southpaw was OSP. I watched that fight, and it's kind of not the same. OSP was really long, really tough to deal with. He was teeping him. Azamat's going to be smaller, smaller. He's 35. He had a layoff. He's pulled out twice due to injury. Last time against old mate Khalil, he had pneumonia. It's like an old man sickness, his lungs. So yeah, this is. I have a really good feeling about this bet. It's scary because it is Alonzo Menifield, but you have to play the number. I feel like he's live to crack Azamat. I feel like you can take him down, and I give Azamat 60%. But yeah, I think this is the toughest guy. So this is a play that I'll definitely play. I'm not going to pass on it and then just regret it. So line keeps improving. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, I don't know. Some people laying juice on Azamat, and it's like the juice was, you had the chance to lay the juice against Devin Clark and some others. Now he's kind of fighting a dangerous guy. So we'll see. Kyrax, Dudakova over 2.5 and something else for easy chalk parlay. That's so chalky. I don't know if I can do it. AV, lots of dogs. Who is your most confident favorite to win? All right, well, let's wait till we get there, my friend. These Aussies talking amongst themselves. Azamat round 2 KO. Yeah, maybe. Menifield, one of the worst to ever do it. Yeah, maybe. Someone saying Azamat was limping on the scale. Who knows about that? Limping is a concern. Someone's always limping, according to the YouTube. Every single weigh-in, someone's limping. Alrighty. Joel Alvarez, Elves Brener. So this is another dog that I like. I don't know why I waited on this one. I think I maybe expected a better line. I don't know why. When I saw plus 160, I should have locked that in. It's scary because Elves Brener absolutely has no defense. But, who is Joel Alvarez really knocked out? Thiago Moises didn't even knock him out. He was just out on the feet, mercy stoppage. And that's about it. The Mark Diakese fight, extremely underwhelming. I played Joel Alvarez inside the distance just because I didn't think Mark Diakese could put 15 minutes together. He's kind of like Trevin Giles. He was eventually going to flake and get caught in something. But yeah, Elvis quite hittable. He seems to gas straight away in the first 5 minutes. It looks like sloppy and breathing heavy. And then he just comes back in 2 and 3 and just pushes through and gets a win here. Alvarez made weight. There's a lot of questions about him. But this is a clear dog or pass. Now the line is plus 130 now. It just keeps getting worse and worse. But who knows? Maybe right before the card it gets better. I don't know if I should force it now. $1.130, $2.37 on Bet365. We'll see. But it's a clear dog or pass. Mr. Greg says he has plus 165 and is petrified, begrudgingly going to add 2-3. I don't think you should be scared, mate. That's a good play. And just add more live, I guess. Brener live bet, not pre-fight bet, in my opinion. I mean, what's going to happen? It's basically, do you think that Alvarez can submit Brener? If not, don't worry about live betting. It's hard to live bet Brener when Alvarez has lost round 1 to, 3 dudes in the UFC already. Right? He lost it to Bernardo, the Italian guy. He's one of the worst to ever do it. He lost it to Armin. He lost to Mark Diakese. He can't stop a takedown. So if Elvis Brener, I was really impressed with his wrestling against Guram Kutateladze, and he even took down Oral By. If Elvis Brener takes him down, money's already been coming in on him. He's probably going to shift straight away to pick him, if not favorite. So it's tough to live bet him. But that 160 was a great bet. Live not going to be there. Gets to okay. So I just said. Alrighty. So another dog or pass. The unders are interesting here. I know some people play the overs. And I honestly expected the under to be even more juiced. Will it go to the decision? No, minus 200. Yeah, I don't know. Both guys are durable. That's the thing. That's the thing. But the best fight to watch in terms of Brener's submission defense is probably Gabriel Santos in the regional. I think the guy is really high level. He's in the UFC now. Finally got a win. And yeah, he was in some deep subs and it didn't give a crap. But Alvarez could just be built different. Alrighty, Mackenzie, Dern, Lupita, Godinez. This, on the early teas, I said this was a pass. Typical volatile Mackenzie Dern fight. Bad wrestling, all aggression, invites volatility. Hittable herself, has a ton of power and aggression herself as well. And you got Lupita, who is more technical, does more things right, but then she just can't separate herself. A split decision against the washed Cynthia Calvillo, 29-28 against Emily Ducote, where she had 3 rounds on the feet. Elise Reed is the only time she covered. Tabitha Ricci should have been a 30-27, but she went to a split just because she just kept getting dropped at the end of the round or slipping. Just she can't avoid. And then, she stuffs takedowns against Verna Jandaroba, and then she still gets 30-27 because her follow-up decisions are just stupid. She's got a high guard. She's going to be there to be hit. Mackenzie Dern, this is a step down from Jessica Andrade and Amanda Lemos, who I thought she won. She basically did in round 1 what Trey Ogden does to everyone, and the judges gave the round to Lemos for a couple of leg kicks. I thought she won round 3, and she was a bit lucky not to get knocked out in round 2. But yeah, this is a step down. When she fought Angela Hill, she just ran through her, mauled her, bunch of 10-8s. Tisha Pennington, I think, is a better version of Lupita Godinez, with better IQ, better striking. She rocked her in round 1. So yeah, I actually, upon tape, now I feel like playing Mackenzie Dern. The more I taped, the more I got scared away and actually didn't want to do it. But I think I'm going to have to trust the gut and just lock in, 1,000 on Dern. And just whatever happens. I mean, Lupita Godinez won't be able to string 3 rounds without ending up on the ground somehow. Right, so we're looking at least a 29-28. Doesn't seem like much value, right? Dern slight favorite, but pick 'em. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not quite good at these pick 'em fights, but last week I was going to play Gregor Rodriguez, which closed that pick 'em, and there was a ton of value, so we'll see. Mackenzie Dern will pass for me. Alrighty, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chiesa. I was halfway through taping this fight and I left it. It's basically, I'm leaning the over 2.5. I pretty much just watched Chiesa and got reminded that he completely washed Diego Sanchez up at welterweight, and he kept losing position as well. I was like, what is this, man? Like, how bad is he grappling? But it's weird because down at lightweight, he's gone against prime and prime Beneil Dariush, really high-level grapplers, and he's rear naked choking him, right? Like a brutal rear naked choke and squeeze. And then just playing with Diego Sanchez and playing with Rafael dos Anjos, playing with Neil Magny. I played him as a dog against Neil Magny, but that was just wild. How much mount, how much back control, and just couldn't finish Neil Magny. Neil Magny's been submitted before. He's been run through before on the ground, even recently by Gilbert Burns. Right, Burns, Joaquim Silva in the grappling comp, Rafael dos Anjos and Damian Maia. Right, just all ran through him, and Chiesa couldn't do it with 5 rounds of grappling. And then, just gets ran through by Vicente Luque ASAP. Sean Brady doesn't submit him, gets ran through by Holland. And then Kevin Ferguson, Tony Ferguson, he's getting finished, but, Diaz finishes him halfway through round 4. Bobby Green with 6 seconds in round 3. So they're all going, Paddy Pimblett couldn't finish him with a lot of damage and a lot of ground grappling. We saw him just run through Bobby Green recently with the triangle. So, I think I like the over 2.5 here, but my bigger concern is, can Michael Chiesa not get submitted? I think he's a head case. I think Tony Ferguson showed enough heart, and Michael Chiesa showed enough stupidness to play around with his food at welterweight. But yeah, it's the over 2.5 or nothing for me. I think this is going to be competitive, but Tony had like a deep dash on Beneil Dariush, who's almost impossible to sub. Will Michael Chiesa survive that? That's my question. But yeah, 2.5 is quite generous. It's a pick 'em. What do we got? Nick Alexander. I like the Dern bet. Let's go. Then I'll play it and blame you if it loses. Alrighty. Marlon Vera Davison Figueiredo. First bet I locked in. All the boys have locked this one in the Discord. It makes sense. I mean, how does a 36-year-old Davison Figueiredo upper weight class, how does he cover this line? His path is a decision. He's going from fighting a washed Rob Font and a washed Cody Garbrandt to Chito Vera. He's 31. I don't think he's washed, but, his performances are not the best. It's a scary bet. I was going to go big at plus 155 because I was like, there's just no way Davison covers this line. Even, knowing that Chito's not going to do anything in round one and he's going to come on round two and he might get taken down. He might be frustrating. But yeah, I think he's got the durability edge. I think he's got the youth, the power, the size. Davison's going to be a weasel. He's going to run away. He might hit takedowns. He might land an overhand right. It could be quite frustrating, but I just had to play the number. I only left half a unit. And, going in depth, taping it in depth, I don't really have a regret. I would hate having a full unit on Marlon Vera going into round 3 and him being 2-0 down, based on 2 takedowns or just chasing Davison and not throwing. But yeah, I think this is going to go to a decision unless Chito finishes him. We've seen Davison kind of look off in a bunch of his flyweight fights, getting finished by Brendan Moreno twice. I think he's had good matchups against Cody Garbrandt and Rob Font. So this is a clear dogger pass. I think this should be a pick 'em. I don't even know why Davison should be the favorite because he's coming off 2 wins. Yeah, but it's a scary bet. It's Marlon Vera. These low IQ guys are the worst. So I have $1,000 to win 1,450. So let's hope and pray, shall we? Nurmagomedov, Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. A few things I'm tempted on this fight. Mikhail, he's big plus money is quite tempting. Let's be honest. I think he's the best fighter that Shara has fought in the UFC. I think he's kind of like Bruno Silva, but slightly less washed and a bit more dangerous. Bruno doesn't really have any good wins. At least Oleksiejczuk's kind of knocked out Nchukwuani and Cody Brundage. Not the best wins, but he won round 1 clean against Kaya Bahia. The only issue is just once he gets out of round 2, and this has always been his issue, he falls apart. I feel like if Shara survives round 1, he's got really high level volume with his kicks. Mikhail, never been knocked out. He's been dropped and hurt a bunch. Apparently, he's never been dropped either, apparently, but he does get wobbled a lot. He was wobbled with a head kick by Chidi. He was wobbled with a body kick and a knee by Michel Pereira. Dude gets hurt a lot, considering he's never been knocked out. So I think Shara can just rip his body. He's got really good knees, especially with the aggression of Mikhail. Shara can counter him. That tie clinch is brutal. But yeah, I think the longer it goes, Shara might just pick him apart. Mikhail's training situation is really awful. I just hate how he fell apart against Kaya Bahia. He won round 1, but he didn't do too much. He just stuffed a couple of takedowns, landed a few overhands, and then round 2 he was just done. So it's hard to back him, but the line is big. I want to play the under 1.5 because that's 9 out of 10 times that's Mikhail's path. But Shara seems quite durable. I've seen him crack a bunch in regionals. Tricoli cracked him. Bruno Silva cracked him. He didn't really react. So I feel like you got a couple of seconds of moments from Mikhail, and then it doesn't happen, and then the under's dead unless Shara hurts him to the body. But he's also quite negative. He likes to back up, kick and back up. So yeah, I wish there was more plus money on the under, but Mikhail, that plus money is really tempting. Really tempting. Greg Lee took the under 1.5 here. I'm sure your line is much better than mine, my friend. Maybe it's not. Shara subs. Yeah, that's really shooting for the stars there. You have to donate on Lord Mikhail for the culture. Yeah, you don't have to twist my arm too much. We'll see. Round 1 KO. We'll see. Nick Alexander. Is his right arm okay? His arm is fine. He didn't even break or anything. I didn't, in my second last comp, I didn't tap at all. And it bent the weird way, and a bunch of things cracked, and he went numb. And a week later, he just stopped hurting. It was just like a ligament strain. But Mikhail's arm didn't even bend, so it's fine. Greg Lee, plus 135. Yeah, that's a good under. I actually like that, and then he moved. Alrighty. Well, I hate to disappoint, but Corey Sandhagen versus Uma, I didn't even tape it. So, yeah. I felt like if I taped it, I would be tempted on Corey Sandhagen, and I just feel like Uma is going to win a minus EV decision. He's got more tools in the shed. He's explosive, he's fast. Corey's always had issues with the more powerful and explosive guys. I don't think TJ is one of them, but he still beat him. Peter Yan, a lot more explosive. He was competitive until Yan was getting the big moments, cracking him and dropping him. I think Umar extremely fast twitch with the kicks and with the hands. He can just mix in takedowns when he needs to. Corey, I think I'm still tempted on him. But you just look at his fight with Marlon Vera. It's a decision. It's a split decision. Even though he clearly won, he just doesn't separate himself. I don't think he'll be separating himself from Umar unless he throws flying knees and whatnot. Don't really want to parlay Umar, but I think he wins a minus EV. Hopefully we get some live lines here. Nick Pearson. Got a lot of Nicks today. Nick Alexander, Nick Pearson. Cheetah with the big VW today. Let's hope so, mate. That would go a long way for my August. All right, let's go over it, shall we? Sedriques, Dumas, Denis, Tiuliulin, clear dog or pass. Jai Herbert, Bedoya, feels accurate to pick him now. Sam Hughes, Dudakova, I guess dog or pass. Jordan Vucenic, dog or pass. Vucenic sub, and the under 2.5 at plus money is tempting me. Shamil Gaziev, round 1 or 2, or the under 1.5 at similar prices. Mohammad, Yahya, Kauê, Fernandes. I think Kai's live for an early finish. After that, could get sweaty. Alonzo, Menifield or pass. I'm going to lock in at least half a unit. See where this number goes. $2.85, $2.90, not bad. Joe Alvarez, Elves, Brener, clear dog or pass. I might poke a little Brener, but I don't like where the line has gone. Mackenzie, Dern. I'm going to poke her for half a unit. Volatile fight. She burned me against Lemos last time, but I think she's good here. Tony Ferguson, I like the over. Then maybe you can play fight ends in sub as a hedge. Marlon Vera, I have half a unit at $1.45 to win 1,450. Nurmagomedov, Mikhail. I don't mind the under. I don't mind Mikhail round 1. I think Shara is going to run away with it after that. Or, let's just say jog away. And Corey Sagan, Umar, Nurmagomedov, they haven't really taped. I feel like Umar wins a minus EV. So I might have a lot of bets here. I might have. I'm going to sleep now so I can wake up 2 a.m. I'm just going to lock it in. I'm going to lock in the bets, and if it doesn't work out, I get reamed for the first week of August. Then I'm just going to go back to my usual conservative style. But Tiuliulin, confidence is whatever. Shamil under 1.5. That's probably going to be a small poke. Alonzo is definitely going to be a half a unit. Brener half a unit. Add live. Dern half a unit. And I already have half a unit on Vera. So a lot of underdogs. And hopefully it's a good night. Danny P. Corey fucks about in the grappling too much and gives him back too easy. Sub live. Correct. That was my first early tease lean. The under for Umar sub. If you can sneak on the back, like Aljo. SV2, what do you think of Umar sub? Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing Danny said. Nick Alexander, geez, who are you rolling with straining your ligaments? Weren't you pissed off at your training partner? No, it was a comp, my friend. It was a comp, and it was my fault. It was 0-0, and it was on points, and there was 30 seconds to go, and I got caught in an armbar, and I let my shit snap because I didn't want to tap. But it recovered really quickly. That's my point, and my elbow full bent backwards the wrong way. So, any thoughts on Barlow versus Veretnikov next week? Tempted on the dog. He's a bit of a mess. Yeah, I know Veretnikov. I faded him with Morales on Contender Series. He's a really physical, powerful guy. But I need to check his chin. Because Barlow, that left hand of God is quite brutal. Need to see, but yeah, he's a good fighter. He kills everyone on the regionals. I'll look into that soon enough. Alrighty, that's it. No other regionals till next week, so I'll do an early tease. And yeah, good luck. A lot of bets. Peace out. Like and subscribe.